Okay, all right. All right. Those of you who may be watching on YouTube live, while I'm actually speaking, I find it a lot easier to not look at YouTube because there's a bit of a delay and it is just a slight bit distracting. So once I'm done, I'll head over to see if there's any comments or questions. But in the meantime, I'm just going to get started because I want to make the most of our time together. Um, Welcome. Whether you're joining live or catching the replay, this moment is for you. Let's pause together to reflect, recalibrate, and step into the new month with fresh clarity. You do not have to be live to be present. Just take a breath and come into this space with intention. Let's start with a gentle check-in. You can jot your thoughts in a journal, you can reflect quietly, or even pause this video when you need for more time. I want you to begin by asking yourself some of these questions to help you with your reflections for the end of May. What's been working for you lately that maybe you haven't fully acknowledged? Something new that you've changed or shifted, something you've done for yourself to improve things, and it's working. Write out some of those. Because if they don't go acknowledged, they can slip through the cracks and we don't feel the benefit, right? It's leaning into that gratitude and that good feeling of how something changing made things better, how we have to really let ourselves kind of marinate in that feeling. I also want you to ask yourself, where do things feel out of alignment? What's felt heavy or forced? Maybe something that feels sticky or like it's not working anymore. It feels like way more effort than it should. All right. Where do things feel out of alignment? This is so personal. Nobody outside of you can tell you this. That's why it's super special and it's got a lot of value. Think back to your January intentions. Do they still feel aligned or have they evolved since then? I know from working with clients, we'll have a call 2 weeks later from taking inspired actions, from moving towards what they thought their goal was. They discover a lot, either about themselves or about what something actually feels like or what an experience actually entails. And they realize, you know what? That isn't what I want. And they realize they have to pivot or make a shift or maybe just slightly change how they define what they want. So I want you to think back to January and whatever you thought would be a great intention or a great focus for the year, is that still what you want to focus on? Or has it evolved? Whether you are writing this down, which I highly recommend, or if you're just thinking about these questions, there's no right way to do this. This reflection is just for you. Sometimes when I'm driving and I listen to different audios or different meditations, it's amazing what kind of information comes up for me when you can't really go anywhere else. You're kind of trapped and there's no distractions. Well, other than driving, obviously. But I do find that a lot of ideas come to me while I'm driving. So wherever you are, I want you to just really think about this. Write out what comes to you, or at least think about it and let it sit with you. Here's something to consider. You do not need to start over. You're allowed to pivot, soften, or shift your pace. Sometimes burnout comes not from doing too much, but from doing a lot without a clear ending. So you never feel burnout when it comes to playing a sport that you really love, or whether it's from people playing games or from scrolling through social media. We don't say the same terminology. We don't talk about burnout from spending a lot of time and energy on something we enjoy because usually there's an end. We know that we're only going to be watching or playing or doing something for a certain amount of time so we can fully enjoy it because we know that there'll be an end time. But when you have certain goals or things that you're working towards, if you don't give yourself kind of checkpoints or different tiers that you want to kind of hit, you're not giving yourself any outs. And everything creatively, you need to be able to stop. You need to be able to say, I achieved that or I met my objective. Burnout comes when there's no end in sight. You're just always working really, really hard and you don't see an end to it. So just create some endings for yourself so that you can have a sense of accomplishment. If something comes up for you that you'd like to share, feel free to post it in the comments. All right, within here where the live video is being streamed, feel free to tag me later if you want to share it on one of your other social platforms, wherever you're most comfortable. I love hearing how these sessions land for you. It means a lot. I'll share something that's been coming up for me too, because I'm always walking this path right alongside you, right alongside everyone I'm working with. So for me, this past month, there was a couple personal moments where things didn't completely unfold the way I had hoped to with regards to my health. So I realized there were some old habits coming back up because I wasn't being intentional. I had shifted my focus. I just recently published my book, which I'm sure if you follow me, you've seen a lot about it. I have a couple copies around me. For some reason, I can't reach them at the moment. But I was focused on the enthusiasm, the all of the exciting things going on around the book launch, and just having a really incredible time right now with different people, wrapping up a mastermind, all kinds of things. And so my focus was on those things instead of my health. And what I really wanted as an intention is to always make sure that my health is a top priority built into the daily structure, built into who I am, not an afterthought or something I have to make time for. And I was reflecting in preparation for this that it is exactly a year since I was able to get a breast reduction surgery based on a goal that I had set for myself of releasing a certain amount of weight between, I believe it was September and April, so that I would feel healthy, strong, and energized going into the surgery. This is a surgery that I had wanted to do since I was, I think, 18, just from having neck and back pains and all kinds of other issues and for exercise purposes. And I was just something that because I never put a date on it, I never put an intention behind when it would happen, it just never happened. It just kept getting put off. And so I'd set that intention. I'd shared that goal publicly. I worked towards it. I released 55 pounds of excess weight, felt so good. And even to this day, every morning I wake up, I think, thank goodness I did that surgery. I feel so great. And I'm realizing the benefits of it every day. So it's a reward. It's something that just keeps coming back up for me. But then after I kind of hit that goal and I had the surgery, all of a sudden my health wasn't my priority anymore. It wasn't my front of mind thought because I was on to my next projects. And what happened was that I haven't regained any of that weight, but I've plateaued. I've stayed in the same place when I know I'm capable of staying healthy, of doing more. And I realized it's because of the old habits. I had implemented a lot of really good, healthy habits that were just part of my day. And I was letting those slide because I was allowing other priorities to move things around. And, if you don't make a decision to keep something a priority all the time, not just when things are hard, then you don't continue to benefit from those results that you enjoy so much. So I'm back on to doing kind of an audit of my nutrition, my sleep schedule, my movement, how I spend my time, like what kind of activities I do when I want to decompress or when I want to be with people and celebrate. So it was just a really great time to kind of get realigned. At the beginning of realizing that I wasn't improving my health and that I was feeling kind of stagnant, I felt disappointed. And honestly, I had a bit of shame. I was so proud of my health journey. I telling everybody about it. So I felt a little bit of shame when I noticed that I had fallen off that that focus, that intention. And after sitting with it, I realized it was just redirecting me towards a version of myself that feels even more aligned. It challenged me to slow down, to trust deeper. And now I see um, the opportunity to revisit and rethink my health habits that I wasn't able to recognize before. Instead of spiraling, instead I got right into, okay, well, based on the current lifestyle, based on what I want my days to look like right now, what makes sense? How do I make sure that my health is still front of mind, but I am still acknowledging where I'm at, where my kids are at, what I want to do, travel, all of that. And then also this past month, we had some experiences come up with our kids with school. Everything was smooth sailing, and all of a sudden we're getting ready for end of year and exams, and some stuff came up with their schoolwork as we're reviewing it. And there's some upset and frustration, and it brought up a lot of shoulds. You should do this as a parent, or you shouldn't do that. As far as how you talk to them, what you say, how you handle the situation. And for me, whenever I hear should or have to, or I start comparing myself, that is my big red flag that I need to make a decision. What do I want? What do I want the outcome to be? And how am I going to make that happen? And I get away from the shoulds and shouldn't. And I honestly, my turnaround time on that spiral was so much quicker. Even my kids benefited. I saw them pivot quicker as well and recover and see their confidence come back. So I'm sharing these not because I have it all figured out at all, but because this is the work. Staying honest with ourselves, choosing to learn, continue to move forward with grace. I want you to take a moment and think, what do you want to feel more of in June? What do you want for yourself in June? What's one thing you're saying yes to, and one thing that you're going to gently release next month? Again, feel free to pause this video if you need more space, more time. Let this be a gift of time to yourself to really take the time to reflect on how your life has been going, how much you've been in control in the driver's seat versus the passenger. Okay? I'm going to end with a short grounding meditation, something really, really short. Okay? Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Breathe in clarity, alignment, and growth. Breathe out pressure, noise, and outdated expectations. Breathe in clarity, alignment, and growth. Breathe out pressure, noise, and outdated expectations. I want you to anchor that short meditation with this mantra. I don't need to start over. I just need to return to what's true. Wherever and whenever you're watching this, know you're exactly where you need to be to take your next step. If this reflection brought something forward for you, I'd love to hear. Please drop it in the comments or share it privately, even if that feels better to you. Take the energy from this session with you and from this reflection into June and return to whenever you need to reset, recalibrate. All right, keep the faith, everyone. I'm sending you so much love and sending you all the blessings for upcoming June and so much gratitude for you spending this time reflecting on May with me. Take care, everyone.